Welcome on back to another episode of the Goonery. How is it going, everyone? I am the innkeeper. Alongside me today, Brandon Cauley Beans. Happy to be here. No Adam again today, unfortunately, but we have a pretty good show planned for you guys. We're going to do some Goonery of the Week discussion. We're going to talk each other off the ledge about the Bears and what we're looking forward to the rest of the season. And then we're going to move into some pro wrestling talk because, that's what everyone likes to listen to. So,
Absolutely.
Brandon, you want to kick us off with your Goonery of the Week?
Yes. So not nowadays I can't watch a lot of college football. Got a job and
Yeah.
everything like that. But I caught the ending of the LSU Florida game where Florida ended up getting a stop until Marco Wilson threw a shoe. Now, personally, I'm a fan of players taking towels off of
Mhm.
the opposing team. I think it's good for mind games and all that other stuff. I like chaos, so I'm into that kind of stuff. But I'm from Jersey City, born
Mhm.
and raised. If you take a shoe off a man and throw it, it doesn't matter if it's Adam or just somewhere. That's a fight.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna fight. So I thought it was extremely funny, but it was stupid and just stuff you just don't see every day. But you know what? It's 2020. It's something very, very 2020 like. And I enjoyed it, and it creates more chaos for the college football playoffs. So you know what? I'm cool with it. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not an SEC guy. We're both Big Ten guys, but
Mm.
you see that Florida. I mean, they screwed themselves out of a chance to playoff, obviously, by losing to LSU. But I mean, that shoe throw has a lot to do with it. But yet they are still that highly ranked. I think they're 6 or 7 still in the college football playoff ranking
Mhm.
with 2 losses. Probably going to have a third if and when they lose to Alabama in the SEC championship. But somehow, if they do beat them, are we really going to be surprised if they kind of sneak in there? If Notre Dame somehow beats Clemson again? I mean, just in general, I don't understand the committee this year, but I mean, you just got to pack up your stuff and leave Gainesville after that one. I think
Mhm.
it's just
Definitely.
I and then just I know I don't know if we've ever talked about it on the show, just in terms of Florida. Are you a fan of Kyle Trask at the next level? What do you like? Any opinion?
So I feel like he is a guy where he would sit for a year.
Mhm.
And I think he has a lot of ability, and I think he has a lot of ability, but he has the same thing that scares me that Mac Jones scares me about.
Mhm.
Mac Jones is probably playing with the best receiving core in the country.
Yeah, undoubtedly.
So that has probably something to do with why he's played so well. And I don't want to take anything away from him because he has intangibles of a quarterback that can play at the next
Mhm.
level. But same thing with Kyle Trask. He's throwing to Kyle Pitts. He has some burners at the wide receiver position. I think they both have intangibles, but it's also scary considering that they have a lot of help around them. So
Mhm.
we don't know what they're going to be at the next level, but it's a risk that I won't say a risk, but it's a pick that you could definitely consider taking.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, my biggest thing, I mean, I'm not claiming to be some scout. This is just me armchair quarterbacking. But every game I've watched, every Florida game I've watched, it sure kind of leaves me a little something to be desired with his arm strength. I mean, not taken away from how great of a season he's had. I mean, he played himself into that Heisman discussion. Obviously, like you said, he has the weapons around him, but he's a special talent. I think Florida's going to end up playing in a New Year's Six bowl, probably against, I don't know, Cincinnati potentially if they are given a New Year's Six bowl. But yeah, I mean, shout out to the Florida Gators. I mean, those boys are built different in Gainesville. But
And
uh,
Florida in general.
yeah, I mean, speaking true. Speaking of being built different, this kind of segues into my Goonery of the week with just Minnesota Vikings kickers in general, and specifically Dan Bailey. Dan Bailey, kicker from the Vikings, who before the season was statistically the most accurate kicker in NFL history. He left 10 points on the board for the Vikings and lost them that football game. I I mean, you feel bad for the guy. I mean, it's ever since I mean, towards the end of Ryan Longwell's career there in Minnesota, and then Blair Walsh just I wouldn't want to go be a kicker in Minnesota. I mean, it's just you're looking for a disaster. That's how it felt as a Bear fan for a while with our kicking situation. But I mean, the Vikings just they can't get it right. It seems.
And you know something, as Bears fans, we have to watch this and be extremely grateful
Mhm.
because if we're talking about MVPs throughout the season in terms of the Chicago Bears, Cairo Santos has to rank at least top 3 among the list.
Mhm.
And we had to really like look at the Vikings kicking situation. And just because they haven't missed a big kick in a playoff game in a couple of years, we have taken that wholeness of having being a kicker purgatory
Mhm.
after getting rid of Robbie Gould. But meanwhile, the Vikings have been there for a very, very long time now. And you would think it just goes back to when Morton Anderson missed a kick to send him to the Super Bowl back in 1999. So this hasn't just started with the whole Blair Walsh thing. This goes back years and years and years.
Yeah, no, you are right. I can honestly, I don't know how that one slipped my mind there, but it's just I don't know if you saw the quote that came out from Zimmer earlier today, just him saying that Mitch Trubisky's been playing very well this year, and he's kind of not this year, but the last few weeks, his accuracy looks better. He's making better reads, and that the Bears have the most defensive talent out of any roster in the league. Kind of feels like he's buttering us up to blow the doors off us this weekend. I don't know how you're feeling heading into this weekend. I mean, in my mind, I don't think that 9-7 for the Bears is even remotely possible. I don't see the Packers even giving us a chance if we do beat the Vikings and then the Jaguars to play to get to 9-7 and get into the playoffs potentially. I mean, but at this point, I was all lose out on last week. I was. I wanted to just see us lose every game and get a higher draft pick. But now they blow the doors off the Texans, which they are the better team. The Bears are the better team than the Texans, I believe, on paper. But
Mhm.
now you have a Vikings team who, I mean, we know what happened last time. It wasn't pretty. I mean, that was when you still had Nick Foles playing quarterback, though. And then a Jacksonville team who just can't play football, to put it lightly. I mean, they have a quarterback battle right now between Gardner Minshew and Mike Lennon. That tells you all you need to know there. And then, I mean, then the Packers, week 17. I mean, I think I've convinced myself 9-7 is possible, but deep down, I know it's not.
Then we are reaching very, very scary hours, and I'm gonna tell you why. So I think me and you can be very, very partial in saying that Mitch Trubisky has played very, very well the
Mhm.
past
Absolutely.
3 games.
Absolutely.
So with that being said, say he runs the table, say he continues to play at a pretty good level, which he has been playing at,
Mhm.
and the 50 option has already not been picked up. But what if somehow, some way, he sneaks the Bears into the playoffs with him being the main guy? That's the key here
Mhm.
because it could be the defense that carries him, and he's just along for the ride. What if the Bears sneak into the playoffs and it's him that's the reason? What do we do?
I mean,
It's gonna make the Bears decision so much harder because at the end of the day, if they go 9-7, that means Matt Nagy is safe, but most importantly,
yep.
Ryan Pace is safe. Ryan Pace was the one who drafted Mitch Trubisky. So his investment, I guarantee you, he's going to want to hold on to his investment because they expected years, and a lot of years out of him, and they want him to be the franchise quarterback. So it's going to get scary over the past couple
Mhm.
of games. As a Bears fan, you're probably rooting for them to lose out, or you're probably rooting for them to make the playoffs
Mhm.
and have Mitch play well because a lot of Bears fans feel he should have been benched in the first place. And truthfully, just looking at how he's been playing, that's probably the case.
Mhm.
So right now, like it's gonna get scary, especially if they defeat Minnesota indecisively.
I know my to put it like bluntly, my cheeks are clenched as we head into this home stretch of the season. Just because, like you mentioned, the Bears went out, go 9-7. Even if they go 8-8 and Mitch Trubisky plays well, he's coming back, and I want to see Mitch succeed. I want to see him live up to that
Mhm.
number 2 pick potential. I'm a big fan of Mitch. I just don't think he's. I mean, I honestly don't even know if he's been put in a situation to succeed. But I'm just worried that we're gonna see Matt Nagy back, and we're gonna see Ryan Pace back, and we're going to do this whole song and dance next year, and nothing is going to change. We'll probably draft another defensive lineman in the first round, probably a corner in the second, and then address the offense line in the middle rounds because, that's what you need to do. And then we'll be having the same conversation next year. We're sitting at like, oh, can we go 9-7? Can we make the playoffs? We're gonna be doing this all next year, and it's not fun being a 6-7 team right now.
It's that's the thing because it's highly reminiscent of that 2013 Week 17 division on the line game, Bears and Packers. Jay Cutler, who underachieved for most of his career up
Mhm.
until that point in a Bears uniform, absolutely balls the hell out against Green Bay, and he earned himself a contract. I'm hoping we learned our lesson from that. And I know a lot of Bears fans have a love affair with Jay Cutler because of his intangibles and everything he could do on the field in terms of his arm talent. But he got released for a reason, people. Like, let's not forget that. Mitch Trubisky was benched for a reason. And now whether we want to talk about it was premature, that's a different discussion for a different day. The fact is he got benched, and fact is his leash was short of why he got benched. So Bears need to be careful here because you don't want to get sucked into this thing again, especially for a guy as good as he's been playing, has still not established that he can throw a deep ball efficiently. So if you want to bark up that tree again, go right ahead, but you're going to push your franchise back another 5 years.
No, that's the truth. It's not an ideal situation to be in, obviously, but the offense just in general. I mean, they look like they're just clicking on a level that we haven't seen since 2018 right now. And I still have a gripe with Matt Nagy right now. You saw Montgomery ran the ball. Obviously, his stats are a little inflated with that 80-yard run, first play from scrimmage for the Bears offensively. But he somehow only finished the game with 11 touches. In what world, when you win a game by 30 and your starting running back gets 11 touches, what are you doing? Like, what is the thought process in your head there, do you think? Do you think that you're just going to try and let Mitch get into a groove? You have the lead, he can play loose, try and ride that momentum into the next week? Or, I mean, even like Patterson. Patterson got what, six carries, I believe, 5, 6 carries. So in total, your running backs, if you want to call Patterson that, 17, 18 touches right around there. And the offensive scheme still has me scratching my head.
You know something? It's like David Montgomery has proven what he can do with a good offensive line.
Mhm.
And and continually I just think about how they are trying to make the most out of their investment in Mitch Trubisky. This has to be what it's about. It can't be just Matt Nagy of coaching this football team. I think Ryan Pace is right in his ear because why in God's name? Not first of all, not only do you have David Montgomery, you have a healthy Lamar Miller. Listen,
Mhm.
Lamar Miller's not anything to be crazy about, but he's an NFL running back and he's been in the league for a good amount of time.
Mhm.
That one game, Artavis Pierce made his debut against the Vikings. We
Mhm.
saw a burst out of him. I guess we're just seeing. But guess who still gets some playing time over them? Ryan Dahl. Why? I don't know. But regardless, the Bears need to run the ball because this is the season where you need to start running the ball. It's going to get cold out. So if you want to put the game in the hands of Trubisky because you feel like he's been on the groove and everything like that, okay, do that, but incorporate the run game. Like that's the only way to incorporate some balance and to keep the defense on their toes because right now, if this is the game plan going forward, the Bears are going to be extremely predictable and they are going to get the doors blown off of them in any game they play going forward.
Yeah, my thing is with us not using the run game, Mitch has been good. He hasn't been great, but he's been playing very, very good for his standards. Why aren't you trying to take the pressure off of him to let him lead him towards a path that will allow him to make the least amount of mistakes possible? This team
Mhm.
is not going to win football games if Mitch is throwing the ball 35, 40 times a game. I mean, at that point, he's going to start turning the football over. He's going to start sailing throws, just looking lost out there. I mean, there's still points when he's scrambling out of the pocket when he should be throwing the ball away, just eat the down, but he's running out of bounds for a loss of 4 or 5 yards. He's still doing
Mhm.
that. But my biggest gripe with us not establishing the run, the play action is just way too predictable still at this point, and Mitch is dangerous
Still.
with the play action. In my opinion, that's when he's at his best. Actually, no, I take that back. Mitch in the 2 minute drill is just a whole different animal.
He is.
It makes no sense to me. But when he could play up tempo and he could, I mean, just bounce around and dink and dunk his way down the field, couple long balls, draw here and there, he looks like a Pro Bowl quarterback in the 2 minute drill every week, and it blows my mind. It blows my mind.
You know something? I actually want to touch upon something. I'm gonna call out sports media because I something's been on my mind and it's actually bothering me. So let's just say if Deshaun Watson would have been the Bears, it'd have been so much of a bigger deal. But since Mitch won, I have not heard anything about Mitch beating Deshaun Watson.
Mm-mm.
I want to know why that is. I really do.
You got to fit their narrative. That's all it comes down to. But yet,
That's all it is.
Mitch was nominated for the Aaron Brown Player of the Week alongside Drew Lock and Rodgers. Obviously, I don't think he deserved it over Rodgers, but I mean, Mitch third in the vote to no surprise to anyone. People just see Mitch's name and laugh, and I don't blame them. He's given them no reason
Yeah.
not to historically, but I mean, the biggest reason, in my opinion, the Bears just lost to the Vikings was Foles' just inability to move around in the pocket and just getting eaten alive last time. That's what Mitch does best. So I think the matchup fares up pretty well. The rush defense has been playing, it's been playing much better the past few weeks. And the thing is, I'm talking myself into a Bears win this weekend again.
You can do that, but I won't do that because I know in my history of being a fan of any team of mine, whether it's my Bears, my Cardinals, or my Michigan Wolverines, as soon as I talk myself up, they make me look like a fool, and the Bears will not make me look like a fool. They will lose this game. And the reason why they lose this game, Justin Jefferson gonna cook just like he did the first game. He is going to cook, and it's going to be a close one. But I feel like it's going to be one of those Kirk Cousins games where he's like down, it's still close. The Bears not going to make enough offensive plays, and then Kirk Cousins eventually delivers a dagger in a
Yep.
late part of the game, like after the 2 minute warning. So I'm gonna go with the score of 24-23.
Oh, you're going with a real dagger there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't doubt that. Justin Jefferson is undoubtedly, in my opinion, the most explosive, fun to watch offensive rookie right now, other than Justin Herbert and Burrow
Mm-hmm.
beforehand. But like skill position wise, I mean, not bad replacing Stephon Diggs with Justin Jefferson. Let me tell you, it's about as good of a swap as you could have hoped for if you're the Vikings.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So,
Absolutely. And props to Stephon Diggs. He's balling in Buffalo right now.
oof.
And just Buffalo is just awesome right now to watch. Just very, very fun, especially Josh Allen. And
Mhm.
I was the main guy who was saying I'm not a believer in Josh Allen yet, and he's made me a believer. So there's that.
Yeah, I mean, last year I think he was last in the league in completion percentage, and this year he's top 5. So the dude put in the work. I'm a big fan.
Wow.
He's fun to watch play football. I mean, I don't know
Hmm.
about you, but every time I watch a Bills game and I see Josh Allen just heave one deep down the field, I'm just in my head, I'm like, oh, that's a touchdown. That's a touchdown. And
Yeah, every
I
time,
mean, it just
every single time.
that ball just carries and carries and carries every time. I mean, and he just took on like the persona of being a Buffalo Bill too in that city, just the madness of their fan base. I mean,
Hmm.
that's about as perfect of a match. Good for the Bills. I'm gonna say it right now. I think that it's gonna be them and the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game, and they are gonna give the Chiefs a dogfight.
Oh, yes, they are. Oh, yes, 100%. And you really think about the AFC right now, it's shifted from the Steelers and the Chiefs to the Chiefs and the Bills. The Steelers are kind of an afterthought. Like they're still the third best team in the league, but
Mhm.
right now, I think it was bound to hit that stretch where they're just like, not playing very good. The whole COVID stuff was going on, and like their focus is a little messed up. I think that the Steelers need to have that win to get back on track and mentally. But right now,
Mhm.
you look at them and they seem extremely vulnerable. Receivers can't catch. James Conn has no running room, and the defense is out there doing a lot, way more than they should.
Yeah.
So Steelers they're on the ropes right now. They're gonna make the playoffs. But they could be one and done.
Oh, I think they'll I mean, not undoubtedly, it depends who the seeding matchup is, but, I mean, looking at the Steelers' schedule, Bengals, they're gonna win that game, but then they have the Colts and the Browns, and I could very well
Oof,
see them losing both of those games. I mean, I
absolutely.
I like to dump all over Baker Mayfield. I think he's just an incredibly average quarterback, but, like, past Monday night, he did not back down. I mean,
Oh yeah.
that was about as entertaining of a football game I've seen in the NFL since, the Chiefs and Rams game. What was that, 2 years ago
I think
on
it was two
Monday
years
night?
ago.
Yeah, I mean,
Hmm.
with the way the AFC is shaping up right now, it's probably gonna be Bills, Chiefs, 1, 2 seed, I would imagine. And then after that, you're gonna have Steelers, and I mean, that AFC South's not decided yet. I think that it's very feasible for the Colts to end up winning that division. But I'll tell
Hmm.
you what, that, that Titans offense scares me. I mean, we saw what they did last year with Derrick Henry and just riding Derrick Henry into the dirt. He's not slowing down. He just keeps getting better and better and better. And if you ride that and then the combination of AJ Brown and now a Corey Davis who knows how to play football again, I'd be afraid to match up with that team in the playoffs.
And you know what? It's the same thing as last year because no one was thinking about the Titans.
Mhm.
Nobody was thinking about the Titans, and I'm pretty sure this is exactly how they like it.
Yep.
And here's one of the big caveats too. Ryan Tannehill was that guy last year, and we're just like, okay, he's good, but wait, let's just wait till he falls off a cliff. Now, granted, he did that in the AFC Championship game against
Yeah.
the Chiefs last
Yeah.
year. He bounced back from that. He's still a damn good quarterback. So with that experience being in the playoffs, losing, and just he just flourished after that. I
Yeah.
would be scared of the Titans. I don't care. I don't care if it's the Chiefs or the Bills. I would be scared of them right now.
Mhm. Absolutely. I mean, before we get into some wrestling talk, obviously we're on just NFL playoffs right now, road to the Super Bowl. What was your preseason prediction? Mine, unfortunately, you can laugh at me all you want. Chiefs are still looking good, but I had the Cowboys. I had the Dallas Cowboys. Obviously, that train wreck is just off the rails. But if I had to guess right now, I think it's going to be. I think we're going to see a Chiefs and Packers Super Bowl. I really do.
So my preseason prediction, yikes. It was the Ravens winning the Super Bowl over the Seahawks. One team is in danger of missing it, but one team will make it.
Hmm.
Right now, because I I have a hard time picking the Packers in any big time playoff situations
Hmm.
because they have been known to fail.
Hmm.
And I think that the trend will continue this year. I don't have the Saints winning. I don't have the Saints making it.
Hmm.
I don't have any of the NFC East teams making it.
I think I know who you're
I
going with.
don't I don't have the Buccaneers making it. I don't have the Seahawks making it.
I know. Yep, that's exactly who I thought you were going to say.
The Los Angeles Rams are going to make the Super Bowl. That defense is absolutely filthy. And I don't know a team that could stack up with them, like, because the Packers offense can be had, in my opinion,
Hmm.
but it just takes a very elite defense to do that. And here's the thing, Jared Goff, all he has to do is just not turn over the football. That's all he has to
He's
do.
done it in the
He
past.
doesn't have to do much. The running game will work itself out because Malcolm Brown's solid, Darrell Henderson's solid, Cam Akers is solid. All the Rams have to do is just not shoot themselves in the foot, and they will be totally fine. They will go to the Super Bowl.
I don't even think that that's crazy. I mean, Sean McVay has just rebranded that offense in a way that they're okay with running the ball. I mean, you saw it last year. Obviously they were a little reluctant to shy more towards that way when they're paying Jared Goff all that money. But when they run the football and then you still have Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods on the outside, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think that that Rams team is going to make a lot of noise in this playoffs, and they surprised me
Absolutely.
this year. I did not expect much from them at all this year, at all.
Me either.
I really thought that they were going to probably finish third in that division. I really third or fourth, honestly, because I don't think
Yeah.
we expected the Niners to be this. I mean, Niners again just been killed by injuries, but
Again.
I mean, it's a shame. That team has a ton of talent, but
Mm-hmm.
they're struggling to stay alive with Nick Mullins at quarterback again.
Mm-hmm.
But I think at the beginning of the year, I said I thought it was going to go Seahawks, Cardinals, Niners, Rams in that division, and
Yeah.
I mean, I'll eat it. I'll eat that take. The
Mm-hmm.
Rams are awesome. Like they're an awesome football team, and McVay has shown that he's okay not being an offense. Like, oh yeah, obviously Sean McVay is an offensive genius, but you that's what's different between him and Matt Nagy. I would say he's willing to change. Not to bring it back to the Bears, but you know what I mean.
So I actually Dominique Foxworth of ESPN, he
Mhm,
said something interesting this morning about there's a team that could make the playoffs that their Super Bowl window could start as early as next season. That will happen to be the Washington football team. Now, here's the thing. If Washington makes the playoffs, they're going to be inexperienced on the defensive end. Granted,
mhm,
that's understandable. But look who they have at quarterback right now. Alex Smith is their quarterback. He is the guy that almost took the 49ers to the Super Bowl one season if Kyle Williams never fumbled the football.
mhm,
This is a guy that could still play football at a pretty good level.
mhm.
Now, probably while the defense is young, they're going to be overlooked. So I feel bad for any team that has to match up with Washington in the wild card round because they're going to give them everything they can handle. And it's going to be interesting beyond this year of how they're going to handle the quarterback
Mhm.
situation because Alex Smith, he's 39 years old. He's not going to be around forever, but who's in the future? Dwayne Haskins is not going to be the future of the team.
No.
So who do you have in waiting?
That's the thing. That's if I'm Washington, I mean, I absolutely think you have to draft a quarterback. In the first round this year. It sucks to say, but you're probably gonna end up in that Zach Wilson range, I would assume, with how it's shaping up. Or you get a more of a project guy, like we were saying, Trask, sit behind someone for a year or so. Brock Purdy from Iowa State. I always mention his name, but I think that he's gonna be a good NFL quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, looking at Washington's schedule, I mean, they have the Seahawks who are coming to play in Washington this week, and then they have the Panthers at home, and they're on the road in Philly to close up the season. I mean, realistically, I really do think that they could win out and finish 9-7. And
Absolutely.
I don't think that's crazy to say. I really don't.
Absolutely. And Giants have the opposite right now.
Mhm.
They have to play Cleveland, they have to play Baltimore, and they have to play Dallas again.
Yeah.
Right now, Washington has put them in an extremely good spot, while Joe Judge has put the Giants in a horrible spot by trotting out Daniel Jones, who wasn't all the way healthy. You saw it. It was as clear as day as the Giants struggled to get over the 50-yard line
Mhm.
for good first half of the game.
Yeah, I know. I really did think that the Giants were gonna beat the Cardinals this past weekend, but
I did too. I did too.
what can you do? I thought they're gonna ride that momentum, and it's gonna be a fight for 8-8 in the NFC East with, Washington, the Giants, but I do agree. I think Washington has that ability to knock someone off. So I know you mentioned you want to do a little bit of wrestling talk here today.
Yes,
What
sir.
what's on your mind? What's on your mind?
So, um, it's easy to go to Kenny Omega route for what he's doing right now with the crossover and how
Mhm,
he joined up with Gallows and Anderson. But I want to talk about something that is extremely alarming, and even for WWE standards, for it seems like for the past couple of years they just constantly made the wrong decision
mhm,
on who to push and who to put in the main event scene, who to not, who they haven't put in the main event scene.
mhm.
How, you know, how in the world could they possibly drop the ball on Keith Lee, who is just exudes the charisma you would want, and a big guy no less. He's a Vince McMahon guy. He's exactly what Vince
Doesn't
McMahon
move like
wants.
a big man though, and that's what makes him so special. That's what
Exactly.
makes him so special. So
He is Samoa Joe that aged well. Let's be
yeah,
real.
no, that's the
He's
truth.
so the fact that he got sent down for more training. What could he possibly have done wrong to get sent down for more training when he is just coming off of being a double champion in NXT? There, he was there for a reason. He beats Randy Orton on a pay per view. He is
In like
teasing a
7
feud.
minutes. In
Exactly,
like 7
exactly.
minutes. So Vince didn't
And
have
it was
time with him then.
and it was a ridiculous booking decision because Randy Orton had a great year, and I think the next pay per view after that he ends up winning the championship. So I was like, what the hell was that for?
Mhm. Yeah.
But Keith Lee deserves better, and it's gonna be one of those things where it's gonna be trend downwards going forward because they want to bring guys back like Jackson Riker or keep pushing guys like Baron Corbin or anything
So,
like that.
you see, you bring up Corbin. I think Corbin is one of the best heels in the company. I really do. I think that he like I used to hate on him, but like he can go in the ring. I really do think he can. Do I love his character work? No, but like he's one of the very few guys at my age when he comes on the screen, I'm like, "Ah, God, this guy sucks. I don't want to see him out
Yeah,
here." And like that means he's doing his job. Like I'm not this is going to sound crazy, but I'm not comparing him to him. It reminds me of when I used to watch Edge when I was much younger, and now I look back on Edge and I was like, God, that guy was something special. Like at that young
yeah,
age where I was able to just feel that hate in my heart for him as he was on the screen. I'm not saying he's that good, but it's like that type of character, and I understand it. But I do agree that Keith Lee is miles more talented than he is. And I mean, just the names that he got sent down to do the training with. It was him, it was Otis, it was Dabo Cato, I don't know how to say his name, who is
yeah.
I think that's AJ Styles' bodyguard at the moment. I mean
No,
his
that was
that's
Shane McMahon's guy on the
yeah.
Underground.
Yeah. I'm and then, AJ's bodyguard, have changed his name, like, twice now. The big
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but, like, just to lump him in with those names is just completely disrespectful to what he does. It makes no sense to me, but then, I mean, reading on the dirt sheets, it's the worst thing you could do as a wrestling fan, in my opinion, but I still do it, and they said that they're hoping that, like, they pull Keith Lee away for a bit, and then people are, like, more excited for when he returns. Well, guess what? There's no fans at the moment, so the people in the Thunderdome gonna go crazy when he comes back out? Like, I don't get the logic here. A couple weeks ago, I thought he was gonna win the Rumble. Now, I have no idea. I really have no idea.
And it leads you to wonder who's going to challenge McIntyre at WrestleMania. It's not going to be AJ Styles. He's not going to win a championship. Who knows what the Miz is going to do with the briefcase?
Mhm.
You have
I
you
think
have Bray Wyatt on. He's probably the most viable contender at the moment.
yeah.
But right now, I think people were expecting a Drew McIntyre Keith Lee matchup
Absolutely.
at WrestleMania for the championship. It was the right move to make.
Mhm.
And for right now, you're just like, what's going to happen? But I do believe, I think Edge will get that opportunity,
You do.
and he will earn it by beating Randy Orton at either Fastlane or Elimination Chamber as a number one contendership match.
Okay. You see, I don't hate that. I think right now, I realistically, I do see I think we're building towards Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. I don't think it'll be at WrestleMania. I don't think they're gonna go with that slow of a burn. I think it'll be the Rumble in about next
Yeah,
month. And I think that's just gonna be an absolute, to quote JR, just a slobber knocker, just beating the crap
hell
out
yeah.
of it. And I think Miz cashes in there, walks into WrestleMania as the champion. I really do. Unless they go the transitional route with him winning the money, winning the title, and then losing it at the next pay-per-view to someone like Goldberg. But they're building towards Goldberg and Roman, as we know, unfortunately. But I mean, I like this is the first year in a while though where I genuinely don't have any clue who I think is going to win the Rumble, and I would say that that's a good thing. A couple weeks ago, like I said, thought it was going to be Keith Lee. Now, no idea.
I had that thought last year because while they were
Mhm.
building up Drew McIntyre, it was one of those things like, all right, are they really going to push McIntyre to that point? So that's something to think about. But if you want to talk about contenders, I think one guy that wrestling fans were looking to see if he could get another program with McIntyre was Bobby Lashley.
Okay.
You're talking about a guy who's been on a tear ever since he joined up with MVP. And he hasn't lost a lot of matches either, but yeah, he's not getting the main event push that he should be getting. And if you think about it, for how great the Hurt Business has been as a collective group, that will give them an uptick
Mhm.
for their top guy to be challenging for the championship. I think they need to revisit that, and whether they do that by putting them in elimination chamber or anything like
Mhm.
that, I think they should absolutely revisit it.
No, I don't hate that at all. I mean, him and, Lashley, and then when Drew was as Drew Galloway in Impact, they had a great program
Oh
together.
yeah,
I would not I would not hate to see that in this list. I mean, the Hurt Business has been such a pleasant surprise to me. Like, at the out of the
yeah.
gate, I mean, they were kinda stumbling out of the gate a little bit, but I'll tell you what, MVP just catching that second win in his career as their mouthpiece with those guys who very, very desperately need a mouthpiece. I mean, it's awesome to see. Like, they're an entertaining group. I think that New Day versus, Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin has potential to be match of the night at TLC this weekend. I really do.
And props to Cedric Alexander for finding his footing again because they pulled the rug from under him after
Mhm,
that one match with AJ Styles for the United States Championship,
mhm,
and everybody knew he had star potential. And I think that's why they turned him heel because they knew he had potential. They
mhm.
just wanted to see if he had a little bit of an edge to him, what would happen. And he is probably right now the most entertaining of the group. Bobby Lashley is
Mhm,
clearly the best, but the
mhm.
most entertaining out of the group in terms of what he could do in a ring and how he carries a match, Cedric is
Absolutely.
right now the best out of the group.
100. I mean, he is the epitome of modern day pro wrestling, I would say. I mean, just the pure athleticism that he brings to the table night in and night out. I'm not gonna say unmatched when you still have a guy like Ricochet on the roster, but
Hmm.
I mean, I still think I'm just still waiting for him to join the Hurt Business as well. I mean, he's just floundering, doing absolutely nothing. It's a shame. He should be in the mid-card title picture at the very least, and he's just doing nothing. Doing absolutely nothing, losing to Retribution, and I mean, talk about another faction that is just a snooze fest. I was looking forward to that, and they just stink. They absolutely stink.
I don't know what they're missing. It's one of those things where they're just not appealing. And here's the thing: I feel like we already have a stable that's also a heel stable.
Mhm,
Why add on another heel stable when they don't even have close to the firepower that the Hurt Business does?
mhm.
You're putting them in the worst possible position. And I get it. Mustafa Ali is great. Maybe this was their way to get him a push, but they're not pushing him.
No.
He's still the same guy. He has just a little bit of an edge. He just has guys behind him now. There's
Yep.
no difference with him. So it's unfortunate for all parties involved because we know Dijakovic is really, really good. I don't really know about Dio Madden, really don't
Yeah.
care about him. Shane Thorne, I forgot what team he was a part of,
He's
but
Sam, yeah.
I don't care about him. Mia Yim deserves better.
Oh,
Like that group, it just sucks. It really sucks. And I think it's because they already have a heel stable. Why add on another one?
and at that point, why don't you just I mean, it very easily just shift one of them on over to SmackDown. Like, I don't get
Hmm.
why you make the decision to bring Retribution to Raw when you are I mean, Retribution had been in the works for a few months, obviously, just the random attacks and just I think that's also part of it too, with how under I don't know, how under well received, that's a horrible way to put it, but, like, no one was excited when the reveal was there because we had seen so much nonsense from them building up on television week after week. You're like, "Ah, this again? Awesome. Awesome." And, I mean,
And that's
those masks are just ridiculous too. Like everyone knows who they are.
Exactly, exactly. And here's the thing. I think whoever had the idea of the group had the Nexus in mind. But the
Yeah.
big difference about the Nexus is number one, they had a legitimate leader. He was the
Mm.
guy who won NXT. So that's number one. Number two, how are you going to scare anybody by just freaking bringing out some fake ass chainsaws and trying to sew up the ring and just breaking everything around you? Beat up somebody. They don't
Yep.
want to care about the ring. Beat the crap out of somebody. That's
Yep.
what made Nexus work. They went after the top guy and destroyed everything in the process and everything around them. That's what made them work. That's what kept their mystique going for as long as it did. Retribution did none of that. It was nothing. No one cared because they was attacking guys that were in the mid to low card and not attacking the big guys. That's a recipe for disaster.
Yep. Yep. So we are inching towards the end here. Just do you any bold predictions for TLC this weekend? I'll kick off with mine. I think that we're gonna see Carmella win the SmackDown Women's Championship.
I would hope not.
I hope not
I would
too.
hope not.
I'm right there with you. I know you're a Sasha Banks guy, but
Oh, big time.
yeah. But I
But
I do unfortunately see that happening. I don't know why. I mean, she fits Vince McMahon's mold. He's obviously has something going for her. Obviously, he's rebranded her what 3 times now, and she's
yeah,
always seemingly in the title picture when she's healthy. I don't want to see it, but I think it. The reason I think that that could potentially happen is a Bailey interference, and then we get a blow off match at the Rumble between Bailey and Sasha.
I would love to see Bailey win the Women's Royal Rumble. By the way, hopefully they build towards it. Even if it's Bianca Belair, I would be cool with either one.
Mm-hmm.
But my bold prediction is also on the women's side. Lana gets the win for the tag team championships. She will get the win over Nia Jax, unless that match changed or not. Or am I?
I thought they didn't they pull Lana from that? I thought I saw on Twitter. I didn't watch this past month. I didn't watch on Monday, but I
Yeah,
thought I
me
saw on
either.
Twitter. I thought I saw on Twitter that they like a fake injury or something to pull her from the match.
And that's where Mandy Rose came back. I'm assuming, correct?
Yeah. So it says, hold on.
Oh
Let me
well,
pull it up. Let me pull it up.
yeah, because
It's now saying
I
Nia.
was
It's saying Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler versus Asuka and TBD. So she gets to pick her partner.
oh. Oh, so you know what? That segues into another bold prediction of mine. I think for whoever gets teamed up with Asuka, Lana will interfere and turn heel eventually to get her title
Oh,
match at the Royal Rumble.
oh. You see, I didn't see you going that route. I thought you were going to go the route of Charlotte Flair returning and teaming with Asuka.
You know, I thought about that. I think it could very well happen, but I do think they're holding Charlotte's return for the Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that at all. And then one more bold I'm not even gonna call it a bold prediction, but I think that Jey Uso beats Daniel Bryan this Sunday. I think that's gonna be a barn burner.
I'm actually gonna go with Daniel Bryan because they're gonna set up that WrestleMania match for sure, for sure.
You think
But
Uso and Roman again, or Daniel Bryan and Roman?
Daniel Bryan and Roman, I think that match will set it up. Um, I think Roman's going to continue to just beat the crap out of his own flesh and blood because he's an animal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love how everything is unfolding. Like SmackDown is just clicking on a lot of cylinders, and Roman and Jay and Daniel Bryan, Sasha Banks, they're all at the head of it. Like I look forward to watching SmackDown every week.
Yeah, me too.
Raw, somewhat, but
Yeah. I'll tell you what though, Reigns and Owens in the TLC match, that's gonna be a
oh,
barn.
that's gonna be
It's
amazing.
gonna be a barn burner.
It's
I
gonna be
mean, I
amazing.
actually I rewatched it the other day. Super underrated match, I think, in my opinion, is KO versus Roman in that Extreme Rules match at the Rumble 2017 with Jericho
Very good.
in the Shark Cage. I mean, they had the one spot where it was Owens went down into like that pile of chairs off the like the top rope and like
Yeah.
outside. That's an underrated match. They have chemistry. I think. I mean, Owens obviously we know he's not going to win. It's
Yeah, of course.
yeah, obviously not. But I'm just happy to see KO is one of my favorite guys on the entire roster. I'm just
Same here. I'm glad he's back in the title picture.
absolutely, absolutely. But I think it's. I mean, on paper, this is a very good pay per view that I'm looking forward to.
And I expect it to be very, very good.
Yeah,
The booking just needs to be just good, and
yeah,
everything else plays itself out.
yeah, yeah. Well, that is going to wrap it up for us today. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to us on YouTube, Twitter. Brandon, where can we find you on Twitter?
At Cauley_97. I'm not sure if that's my name still, but if it's not, I'll retweet the Goonery. You can find me on there.
And then my at is at the innkeeper _ and the I is a 1. So just want to say thank you again for tuning in, and we will see you next time.